The Galactic Crisis. The galaxy had never faced a threat like this before. A mysterious and powerful alien force had appeared out of nowhere, attacking and destroying entire planets. No one knew where they came from or why they were attacking. What was clear, however, was that this enemy was unstoppable. They were too strong, too fast, and far too advanced for the Galactic Council to handle. The Galactic Council was the main ruling body in the galaxy, made up of representatives from many different species. They were responsible for keeping peace, solving problems, and protecting all the planets under their control. But now, they were helpless. Every attempt to stop the alien invaders had failed. Even their most powerful fleets were no match for the enemy. The council members sat in their grand chamber, their faces filled with worry and fear. They had never been this afraid before. The alien force was moving from planet to planet, leaving nothing but destruction in its wake. It was only a matter of time before they reached the core worlds, the heart of the galaxy where most of the major civilizations were located. Chancellor Vicar, the leader of the Galactic Council, stood at the center of the room. He was a tall, thin alien with silver skin and deep blue eyes. Normally, he was calm and collected, but now he looked as if the weight of the galaxy was pressing down on his shoulders. "We have no choice," Vicar said, his voice trembling slightly. "If we do not act soon, everything we have built will be destroyed." There was silence in the room. The other council members looked at each other, unsure of what to say. They had already tried everything they could think of. Their fleets had been destroyed. Their best warriors had fallen. They had no more weapons to use, no more strategies to try. General Thaler, a fierce warrior from the Thran species, stood up. He was covered in thick scales and had long, sharp claws that could cut through metal. His people were known for their strength and bravery in battle, but even they had been defeated by the alien invaders. "We cannot fight them," Thaler growled, his voice filled with frustration. "Every time we engage them, we lose more ships and soldiers. Our defenses are useless against their technology. We are running out of time." The room was filled with murmurs of agreement. The council had never been so powerless before. They were the leaders of the galaxy, but now they were reduced to sitting and watching as everything they had built was being torn apart. "What about the humans?" a voice suddenly asked from the back of the room. All eyes turned toward Speaker Zevra, a small bird-like alien with bright yellow feathers. She was one of the younger members of the council, and her suggestion caught everyone off guard. "The humans," Thaler scoffed. "They are dangerous, unpredictable. They cannot be trusted." Zevra stood her ground. "They are dangerous, yes, but they are also strong. Stronger than any of us. They have a history of winning battles against impossible odds. If anyone can stop these invaders, it's them." There was a moment of silence as the council members considered her words. The humans were indeed a force to be reckoned with. Though they were often seen as outsiders in the galaxy, everyone knew that humans had a fierce fighting spirit. They were known for their willingness to do whatever it took to survive, no matter the cost. Chancellor Vicar looked thoughtful. "The humans have kept to themselves for many years now. They have not involved themselves in the affairs of the council. But Zevra is right. They are our last hope." The council members began to whisper among themselves. Calling on the humans was a risky move. Humans had a reputation for being unpredictable, and their methods were often seen as extreme. But the situation was desperate. If they didn't act soon, the entire galaxy would fall. "We will reach out to the humans," Vicar decided, his voice firm. "But we must tread carefully. They may be our only chance, but we cannot afford to lose control." As the meeting ended, the council members left the chamber with heavy hearts. They knew the decision to involve the humans would change everything. But with the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance, they had no other choice. The message was sent to Earth, and now all they could do was wait, and hope that the humans would answer the call. Turning to the humans, the Galactic Council had made their decision. They would ask the humans for help. It was a decision that filled many of the council members with dread. The humans were known throughout the galaxy, not for their technology or diplomacy, but for their terrifying strength in battle. Many of the alien species in the council had witnessed firsthand what humans were capable of, and it wasn't something they were eager to see again. But desperation had driven them to this point. The alien invaders had already destroyed half a dozen planets, and the council's defenses had failed. If they didn't act soon, the galaxy would be lost. The council had no other option. As Chancellor Viker prepared the message to Earth, he couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The humans were a wild card. Though they had proven themselves powerful in the past, they were also unpredictable. Their history was filled with wars, conflicts, and aggressive expansion. And yet, in this moment, they were the only hope the council had. The council chamber was filled with murmurs and quiet discussions as Viker worked. The other members were nervous. Many of them had never dealt with humans directly, but they had heard the stories. There were rumors of entire alien armies wiped out by human forces, tales of terrifying war machines that humans used to crush their enemies. Even the thought of humans brought a chill to the room. Speaker Zevra, the one who had suggested turning to the humans, stood quietly by Viker's side. Her bright yellow feathers ruffled slightly as she sensed the tension in the room. Despite her small size and delicate appearance, Zevra was known for her sharp mind and bold ideas. She had taken a huge risk by suggesting the humans, but she believed it was the right choice. "Do you really think they'll help us?" Zevra asked quietly, watching Viker send the message. "They have no reason to," Viker replied, his voice low. "The humans have stayed out of galactic affairs for years. They keep to themselves. They have no stake in this fight. Then why would they come?" Zevra pressed. Viker sighed, turning to face her. "Because if they don't, the galaxy will fall. And even the humans cannot survive alone in a galaxy ruled by these invaders. They need us as much as we need them, whether they admit it or not." Zevra nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. The humans were known for their fierce independence, but even they had to see that this was bigger than any one species. The alien invaders weren't just attacking the Council's planets, they were threatening the entire galaxy. The message was sent, and now, all the Council could do was wait. Days passed, and the atmosphere in the Council chamber grew more tense with each passing moment. Some members began to doubt whether the humans would respond at all. Others feared what would happen if they did. Finally, the response came. The humans had agreed to meet. The news sent a wave of mixed emotions through the Council. Relief, fear, hope, and anxiety all swirled together. The humans had agreed to come, but no one knew what that would mean. Would they truly help, or would they bring even more chaos to an already dire situation? The day of the meeting arrived, and the Council chamber was filled with representatives from every species. The air was thick with anticipation. Everyone had heard stories about humans, but very few had ever actually seen one. The doors to the chamber opened, and a group of humans entered. They were tall and imposing, their faces set with hard expressions. Their leader, a man named Commander Reeves, walked to the center of the room, his every step echoing in the silent chamber. His eyes scanned the room, and for a moment, no one dared to speak. Chancellor Viker stepped forward to greet him. "Commander Reeves, we are grateful that you've come." Reeves nodded, but his expression remained unreadable. "We received your message. The situation sounds serious." "It is," Viker replied. "We are facing an enemy unlike anything we have ever seen. Our defenses have failed. We need your help." The room was so quiet that the sound of Viker's words seemed to hang in the air. Everyone was waiting for Reed's response. The human commander crossed his arms, his gaze sharp. "We're not here to be your saviors. But if these invaders are as dangerous as you say, then we have no choice but to stop them." There was a murmur among the council members. Reeves' words were blunt, but they carried a weight that made everyone sit up a little straighter. "We will fight," Reeves continued, his voice steady. "But make no mistake, we fight on our terms." The humans had spoken. The council now had their answer. The galaxy's most feared species had agreed to join the battle, but it was clear they would not be controlled. The humans would fight, but they would do so in their own way. Whether that would save the galaxy or doom it, no one knew. But one thing was certain: the humans were now part of the war, and nothing would ever be the same again. Debating the risk. The atmosphere in the Galactic Council chamber was tense. The Council had just received the human delegation, and their arrival had set off a flurry of discussions. The members of the Council, who had once felt confident and in control, were now grappling with a new kind of fear. They had called the humans for help, but now they faced the uncomfortable reality of what that meant. Chancellor Viker called for a meeting to discuss the next steps. The chamber was filled with representatives from various alien species, each with their own concerns and opinions. The long table at the center of the room was surrounded by beings of different shapes, sizes, and colors. They were all silent, their eyes focused on Viker. Viker stood at the head of the table, his silver skin glistening under the chamber's lights. "We have brought the humans into this fight," he began, his voice steady but filled with unease. "They have agreed to help, but now we must decide how to proceed." General Thaler, the fierce warrior from the Thran species, was the first to speak. His voice was rough, and his scales seemed to shimmer with agitation. "This is a huge risk. The humans are known for their unpredictability. They might help us, but they could also turn against us. We have no way of knowing what they will do." The council members nodded in agreement. The stories about human behavior were legendary, and not all of them were positive. While the humans were undeniably powerful, their methods were often ruthless and aggressive. Many feared that aligning with them could lead to more problems than solutions. Speaker Zevra, who had been a strong advocate for bringing in the humans, looked troubled. Her bright yellow feathers drooped slightly as she spoke. "I understand the concerns, but we are out of options. The alien invaders are destroying everything. If we don't act now, the galaxy will be lost. The humans may be our only chance." Another council member, Elder Nilo, a wise and ancient being from the Nera species, raised his voice. "We must also consider that humans are not bound by our codes or ethics. Their way of fighting is different. They do not always follow the rules we have set. This could lead to unintended consequences." The room erupted into murmurs of agreement and disagreement. The council was divided. Some members believed that any help was better than no help, while others worried that involving the humans could make the situation worse. Viker raised his hand to quiet the room. "We must weigh the risks carefully. Yes, humans are unpredictable, but they are also incredibly strong. If they can help us defeat the invaders, it might be worth the risk. We need to have a plan in place to ensure that their involvement does not lead to further chaos." General Thaler leaned forward, his sharp claws tapping on the table. "How do we control them? How do we make sure they don't take the opportunity to pursue their own goals? Humans are known for acting in their own interest, not necessarily in the interest of others." Zevra spoke up again, her voice determined. "Perhaps we should establish clear guidelines and agreements with the humans before they engage in battle. We need to make sure that they understand the limits and expectations. If they are going to fight alongside us, they must know what is acceptable and what is not." Elder Nilo nodded thoughtfully. "It may also be wise to keep close communication with them. Regular updates and checks can help us stay informed about their actions and intentions." Viker nodded in agreement. "We will draft an agreement outlining the terms of their involvement. We must ensure that the humans understand the seriousness of the situation and the need for cooperation. We will also keep open lines of communication to monitor their actions." The council continued to debate for hours, discussing every possible scenario and risk. The decision to involve the humans was not taken lightly. There were many unknowns, and the fear of the unknown was palpable. But the weight of the crisis was even heavier. As the meeting drew to a close, Viker looked around at the anxious faces of his fellow council members. We have no choice but to move forward. The humans have agreed to help, and we must take this chance. But we will proceed with caution. We will put safeguards in place to protect our interests and ensure that this alliance benefits everyone." The council members left the chamber, their minds still racing with the possibilities of what could go wrong. The decision had been made, but the real challenge lay ahead. The humans were coming, and with them came both hope and uncertainty. The fate of the galaxy now rested in their hands, and everyone knew that the next steps would be critical. Humans step up. The Galactic Council had made their decision and set the terms. The humans were now officially part of the fight against the alien invaders. As the news spread across the galaxy, many were filled with a mix of hope and fear. The humans were known for their strength, but their methods were unpredictable. The galaxy was about to see what they were truly made of. Back on Earth, the human military was already preparing for the battle ahead. Commander John Reeves and his team were busy organizing their forces. The base was a hive of activity, with soldiers, engineers, and technicians working tirelessly. The human military was known for its efficiency and determination, and now they were putting everything they had into this mission. Commander Reeves, a tall and imposing figure, stood at the center of the operations room. His face was set with a determined expression as he reviewed the plans. The room was filled with maps, diagrams, and holographic displays showing the locations of the alien forces. His team worked around him, focused and intense. "All right, team, listen up," Reeves said, his voice cutting through the noise of the busy room. "We have a job to do, and we're going to do it right. The alien invaders are a serious threat, but we have the technology and the skills to take them down. Our goal is clear: protect the galaxy and stop these invaders." His words were met with nods and murmurs of agreement. The humans were not just fighting for their own survival, they were fighting for the entire galaxy. It was a huge responsibility, but one they were ready to take on. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. Human soldiers trained rigorously, their drills and exercises becoming more intense as the days went by. Their war machines, some of the most advanced in the galaxy, were fine-tuned and prepared for battle. Everything had to be perfect. The stakes were too high for mistakes. In the command center, Lieutenant Sarah Miller, one of Reeves' most trusted officers, was busy coordinating logistics. She worked alongside engineers who were making sure that the human spacecraft and weapons systems were in top condition. Every detail mattered, and the pressure was immense. "Commander, we've completed the final checks on the main fleet," Sarah reported, her voice steady despite the tension. "All systems are green. We're ready to deploy at your command." Reeves nodded, his face showing a mixture of pride and determination. "Good work, Lieutenant. Let's get this show on the road. We're not just going to fight. We're going to win." As the human forces prepared to launch, a message was sent to the Galactic Council. The humans were ready and waiting for their orders. The Council, watching from afar, could only hope that their decision would pay off. They knew the humans were powerful, but they also knew the risks involved. The day of the battle arrived. The human fleet, a massive armada of sleek, advanced spacecraft, assembled at the edge of the conflict zone. The ships gleamed in the cold light of space, their weapons systems primed and ready. The sight of the human fleet was both awe-inspiring and intimidating. It was clear that the humans had come prepared. Commander Reeves addressed his troops one final time before the battle began. His voice was filled with resolve and confidence. "Today, we fight not just for ourselves, but for everyone who has been threatened by these invaders. We know what's at stake, and we know what we need to do. Trust in yourselves and in each other. We're going to show the galaxy what humans are capable of." The humans took to their ships and prepared for combat. The battle began with a sudden burst of energy as the human fleet engaged the alien invaders. The initial clash was fierce, with explosions and laser fire lighting up the dark expanse of space. The humans fought with a combination of precision and ferocity that quickly caught the enemy off guard. The alien invaders, initially confident in their superiority, found themselves struggling against the sheer strength and determination of the human forces. The humans were relentless, their tactics aggressive and effective. The tide of the battle began to shift in their favor. As the battle raged on, the Galactic Council watched with bated breath. The sight of the human forces pushing back the invaders was both thrilling and terrifying. The Council had made a bold decision, and now it seemed that their gamble might be paying off. Commander Reeves and his team were in the thick of the action, coordinating attacks and making crucial decisions in the heat of the battle. The humans had stepped up, showing their strength and determination. They were proving themselves to be not just a powerful ally, but a decisive force in the fight against the alien threat. The first day of the battle ended with a significant victory for the human forces. The alien invaders had been pushed back, and the humans had demonstrated their incredible combat skills. The galaxy had witnessed the humans in action, and their reputation as a formidable force was reaffirmed. As the dust settled and the human fleet regrouped, the Council knew that the battle was far from over. But one thing was clear: the humans had stepped up, and they were making a difference. The galaxy's fate was still uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, there was a glimmer of hope. Ready for war. The days following the first battle were intense. The Galactic Council and the humans had been working nonstop, preparing for the next phase of their struggle against the alien invaders. The initial clash had shown promise, but the battle was far from over. Everyone knew that the real test was yet to come. In the Human Command Center, Commander John Reeves and his team were deep into their preparations. The command center was a hive of activity, with soldiers, engineers, and strategists all working tirelessly. The mood was serious, but there was also a sense of determination and unity. Reeves stood at the center of the operations room, his gaze fixed on the large holographic display in front of him. The display showed the positions of the human fleet and the alien forces, as well as the latest intelligence reports. The situation was complex, and the stakes were high. "All right, team," Reeves said, his voice cutting through the hum of activity. "We've had a taste of what the enemy can do. We've seen their strength and their tactics. Now we need to be ready for the next phase. We need to push them back and keep pushing until they're defeated." Lieutenant Sarah Miller, always by Reeves' side, nodded in agreement. "We've updated our strategy based on the data from the last battle. Our fleet is in top shape, and our troops are ready. We've also received additional support from our allies in the Galactic Council. They're sending reinforcements and supplies." Reeves looked around at his team, his expression resolute. "Good. We'll need every advantage we can get. The aliens are strong, but we're stronger when we work together. We've got the technology, the strategy, and the willpower to win this. Now we need to execute our plan with precision." The human forces were preparing for a major offensive. Their ships were being refueled and rearmed, their soldiers were going through final briefings, and every piece of equipment was being checked and double-checked. The atmosphere in the command center was charged with anticipation. The humans were ready to take the fight to the enemy. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, the alien invaders were regrouping after their initial setback. They were preparing for the next wave of battle, their own command centers filled with activity and strategizing. The invaders were ruthless and efficient, and they were not going to back down easily. The Galactic Council, watching from their own command centers, anxiously awaited the results of the human preparations. They had staked their hopes on the humans, and the pressure was immense. The council members knew that the outcome of this battle could determine the fate of the entire galaxy. As the time for the next battle approached, the human fleet assembled in formation. The ships, sleek and powerful, glistened under the cold light of space. The human soldiers, clad in their advanced armor, were ready for the fight ahead. The command center was silent, everyone focused on the task at hand. Commander Reeves addressed his troops one final time before the battle began. His voice was calm but filled with determination. "This is it. We're about to launch our major offensive. Remember, our goal is to push the invaders back and protect the galaxy. We know what we're up against, and we know what we need to do. Stay focused, stay sharp, and trust in each other. We can win this." The human forces took their positions, their ships ready to launch. The countdown began, and the tension in the command center was palpable. As the final seconds ticked away, everyone held their breath, knowing that the next few moments would be crucial. With a flash of energy, the human fleet surged forward, engaging the alien invaders in a fierce and intense battle. The space around them lit up with explosions and laser fire as the two forces clashed. The humans fought with precision and power, their advanced technology and strategies coming into play. The initial moments of the battle were chaotic, but the humans quickly began to gain the upper hand. Their coordinated attacks and relentless pressure forced the alien invaders to retreat. The human fleet moved forward, pushing the enemy back and making significant gains. As the battle raged on, the Galactic Council watched with a mixture of hope and anxiety. The humans were proving their worth, their strength and determination evident in every move. The tide of the battle was turning, and for the first time in a long while, there was a real chance of victory. The battle was far from over, but the humans had shown that they were ready for war. They had stepped up when it mattered most, and their efforts were making a difference. The fate of the galaxy was still uncertain, but the humans had proven themselves to be a powerful and decisive force. As the first phase of the battle concluded, the humans regrouped and prepared for the next stage. They had made significant progress, but they knew that the fight was not yet over. The galaxy's fate rested in their hands, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The first battle. The day of the first major battle had arrived, and tension hung heavy in the air. The human fleet, ready and armed, floated in the cold expanse of space, waiting for the signal to engage. The Galactic Council, watching from their command centers, felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety. The outcome of this battle would be crucial in determining the fate of the galaxy. Commander John Reeves stood at the helm of the flagship, his face set in a determined expression. The room was filled with the hum of machinery and the quiet murmur of his officers preparing for the battle. The large holographic display showed the positions of both the human fleet and the alien invaders. The time for strategy had passed. Now it was time for action. "Commander, all ships are in position," Lieutenant Sarah Miller reported, her voice steady despite the excitement in the room. "We're ready to launch when you give the word." Reeves nodded, his gaze fixed on the display. "We've trained for this moment. Remember, our goal is to push the invaders back and protect the planets they've targeted. Stay sharp and follow the plan." With a final nod, Reeves gave the command to engage. The human fleet surged forward, their engines roaring as they moved into position. The space around them lit up with the brilliance of their weapon systems, ready for the impending clash. The alien invaders, already in position, responded quickly. Their own ships moved into formation, and the battle began with a sudden burst of energy. The silence of space was shattered by the sounds of lasers and explosions as the two forces collided. The first moments of the battle were chaotic. Ships darted in every direction, and the vacuum of space was filled with the flash of weapon fire. The human fleet, well coordinated and disciplined, executed their plan with precision. They struck at the alien ships with fierce determination, their advanced technology proving effective against the enemy. Commander Reeves watched the battle unfold on the holographic display, issuing commands and making real-time adjustments to their strategy. The humans had expected a tough fight, and the invaders were living up to their reputation. But the human forces were relentless, pushing forward and forcing the enemy to react. As the battle continued, the alien invaders began to show signs of strain. The human fleet's aggressive tactics and superior firepower were taking their toll. Ships that had once seemed invincible were now being pushed back, their movements more frantic as they struggled to maintain their position. Lieutenant Miller kept a close watch on the tactical readouts, her eyes flicking between the display and the live feed of the battle. "Commander, we're making progress. The invaders are starting to retreat from the outer sectors." Reeves nodded, but he knew better than to become complacent. "Keep the pressure on. We need to drive them back as far as we can. Don't let them regroup." The human fleet pressed their advantage, moving forward with a combination of precision and force. The battle raged on, with explosions lighting up the dark expanse of space. The human ships worked in unison, their tactics well rehearsed and effective. Despite their efforts, the alien invaders were not finished yet. They began to regroup, drawing on their reserves to mount a counterattack. The humans faced a new wave of resistance, and the battle intensified once again. The clash between the two forces was fierce, with each side determined to gain the upper hand. Hours into the battle, the tide began to turn. The human fleet's relentless assault and superior coordination had worn down the alien forces. The invaders, unable to withstand the pressure, started to pull back. The human ships continued to push forward, securing key positions and gaining ground. As the battle drew to a close, the human fleet emerged victorious. The alien invaders had been pushed back, their forces in disarray. The space around the battlefield was filled with the remnants of the clash, damaged ships and debris scattered across the void. Commander Reeves looked out at the scene of victory, his expression a mix of relief and determination. The first major battle had been won, but there was still much work to be done. The humans had proven their strength, but the war was far from over. The Galactic Council watched the results with a sense of hope. The humans had shown themselves to be a powerful and effective ally. The victory was a significant step, but it was only the beginning. The fight against the alien invaders would continue, and the galaxy's fate still hung in the balance. As the human fleet regrouped and prepared for the next phase of the conflict, there was a renewed sense of purpose. The battle had been hard-fought, but it had also shown that the humans were more than capable of meeting the challenge. The galaxy had witnessed their strength, and there was a growing sense that victory was within reach. Gaining respect. The aftermath of the first major battle left the galaxy buzzing with new energy. The human forces had proven their mettle, pushing back the alien invaders and securing a significant victory. The victory not only boosted morale but also began to shift the perception of the humans across the galaxy. In the Galactic Council's meeting chamber, the mood was markedly different from before. The council members, who had once been skeptical of the humans, were now filled with admiration. The holographic displays around the room showed images of the battle's aftermath, the human fleet's victory, the retreat of the alien invaders, and the regained territories. Chancellor Vicar, who had initially doubted the humans, now found himself reluctantly impressed. He addressed the council with a rare note of respect in his voice. "We must acknowledge the remarkable performance of the human forces. Their strength and effectiveness in battle have exceeded our expectations." General Thaler, a fierce warrior from the Thran species, nodded in agreement. The humans fought with skill and determination. They were relentless in their pursuit of victory. I must admit, their capabilities have earned my respect. Speaker Zevra, who had always been an advocate for the humans, looked pleased. Her yellow feathers seemed to brighten as she spoke. "This victory is not just a win for the humans, but for all of us. Their actions have proven that they are capable allies. We should work closely with them and learn from their strategies." The council members continued their discussion, recognizing the strategic advantage that the humans brought to the table. The victory had not only shown their military prowess, but also their ability to inspire and lead. The respect they had gained was palpable, and the perception of them as mere warriors had begun to shift to that of respected leaders. Meanwhile, on Earth, the mood was celebratory. The news of the victory had spread across the globe, and the human people were filled with pride. Commander John Reeves and his team were hailed as heroes. The media coverage was extensive, with headlines praising their bravery and skill. In the command center, Reeves and his team were debriefing after the battle. The atmosphere was one of quiet satisfaction. Lieutenant Sarah Miller approached Reeves, a look of pride on her face. "Commander, we've received messages of congratulations from the Galactic Council. They're impressed with our performance." Reeves smiled, his eyes reflecting the pride he felt. "We've worked hard to get here. This victory is a testament to our training and teamwork. But it's also a reminder that there's still more to be done. We need to keep up the pressure and continue showing what we're capable of." As the days went by, the humans continued to strengthen their position. Their success in the battle had earned them not just respect, but also trust. The Galactic Council began to rely more heavily on the human forces, incorporating their strategies into the broader plan to defeat the alien invaders. The human forces, in turn, worked closely with their allies, sharing their tactics and insights. They had proven themselves to be valuable partners, and the collaboration with other species was growing stronger. The exchange of ideas and strategies led to more effective coordination and a unified approach to the ongoing conflict. The respect the humans had gained was not just from their military achievements, but also from their approach to the war. They treated their allies with fairness and worked to build strong relationships. Their leadership and dedication began to change how others viewed them. In the Galactic Council chamber, the atmosphere was one of cautious optimism. The humans had demonstrated their worth, and the council members were beginning to see them as more than just powerful allies. They were becoming integral partners in the fight for the galaxy's future. As the conflict continued, the humans remained focused on their mission. Their respect and status among the galactic community had changed, but their goal remained the same: to secure victory and protect the galaxy from the alien threat. The journey was far from over, but the respect they had gained was a significant milestone in their efforts. Commander Reeves and his team continued to lead with determination, knowing that their actions had made a lasting impact. They had shown the galaxy that humans were not only fierce warriors, but also capable leaders and trusted allies. The respect they had earned was well-deserved, and they were ready to build on that foundation as they continued their fight for peace and security across the stars. The final attack. The time for the final attack had arrived, and the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. After weeks of preparation and countless battles, the human forces, now respected and trusted allies of the Galactic Council, were ready for the decisive strike against the alien invaders. The stakes were high, and everyone knew that this battle would determine the fate of the galaxy. In the command center of the human fleet, Commander John Reeves stood before his officers, their faces illuminated by the glow of tactical displays. The room was filled with a mix of determination and nerves. The final attack was their chance to end the conflict once and for all. "All right, everyone," Reeves began, his voice steady and commanding. "This is our moment. We've fought hard to get here, and now it's time to finish this. Our objective is to launch a coordinated assault on the alien stronghold. We've planned every detail, and we need to execute with precision." Lieutenant Sarah Miller, always at Reeves' side, nodded. "The fleet is in position, and our allies are ready. We've analyzed the enemy's defenses and identified key targets. The plan is set. We just need to follow through." Reeves took a deep breath, scanning the faces of his team. "Remember, this isn't just about winning a battle. It's about securing peace for the galaxy. We're fighting for everyone who depends on us. Let's show them what humans are capable of." As the command was given, the human fleet sprang into action. The ships moved with purpose, their engines powering up as they prepared for the assault. The vast expanse of space was filled with the sight of the fleet's advance, a formidable force ready to strike. The alien stronghold, a massive fortress surrounded by a web of defensive structures, loomed ahead. The invaders, aware of the impending attack, were on high alert. Their ships and defenses were prepared, but the determination and resolve of the human forces were evident. The final attack began with a barrage of fire from the human fleet. The ships unleashed a coordinated salvo of missiles and laser beams, targeting the key defensive positions of the alien stronghold. The explosions that followed lit up the dark void of space, creating a dazzling display of light and energy. The alien forces responded with fierce resistance. Their ships maneuvered rapidly, firing back with their own weapons in an attempt to repel the assault. The battle quickly escalated into a chaotic clash, with both sides exchanging heavy fire. The sheer intensity of the conflict was breathtaking. Commander Reeves watched the battle unfold on the holographic displays, issuing commands and adjustments as needed. The humans were pushing forward with relentless determination, their tactics and coordination evident in every move. The initial phase of the attack was going according to plan, but the final victory was still in the balance. Lieutenant Miller kept a close eye on the tactical readouts, relaying critical information to the command center. "Commander, we've taken out several of the alien defenses. We're making progress, but their main defensive line is holding strong." Reeves nodded, his mind working quickly. "Increase the pressure. We need to break through their defenses and target their command center. That's where the core of their strength lies." The human fleet intensified their assault, focusing their fire on the alien command center. The battle was now a test of endurance and strategy. The alien forces fought with desperation, knowing that their stronghold was at risk. The humans, however, were relentless, pushing forward with every available resource. As the battle raged on, the tide began to turn in favor of the humans. Their concentrated firepower and tactical acumen began to overpower the alien defenses. The command center of the alien stronghold, once a symbol of their might, was now under heavy assault. With one final decisive push, the human fleet delivered a devastating blow to the alien command center. The stronghold erupted in a series of explosions, signaling the collapse of the invaders' primary base. The alien forces, seeing their command center in ruins, began to retreat in disarray. The final attack was a resounding success. The human fleet had achieved their objective, and the alien invaders had been decisively defeated. The battlefield, once a chaotic scene of conflict, was now quiet as the remnants of the enemy forces drifted away. In the command center, the mood was one of relief and triumph. Commander Reeves and his team exchanged smiles and congratulations. The final attack had been executed with precision, and the galaxy was now free from the threat of the alien invaders. As the human fleet regrouped and prepared to return to their base, there was a sense of accomplishment. The conflict had been arduous, but the victory was a testament to their strength and determination. The galaxy had been saved, and the humans had proven themselves to be a powerful and respected force. The final attack marked the end of a significant chapter in the galaxy's history. The humans had fulfilled their promise, and their role as defenders of peace and security had been firmly established. The future looked brighter, and the galaxy could now begin to heal and rebuild. Saving the galaxy. The aftermath of the final attack brought a profound sense of relief across the galaxy. The alien invaders had been decisively defeated, their stronghold reduced to ruins. The battle had been fierce and costly, but the victory was a testament to the strength and bravery of the human forces. Now it was time for the galaxy to begin the process of recovery and reflection. In the Galactic Council's main chamber, representatives from various species gathered to discuss the future. The atmosphere was one of cautious optimism, tempered by the gravity of what had been achieved. The once skeptical council members now looked at the humans with newfound respect and admiration. Chancellor Vickar addressed the assembly, his voice filled with a mixture of gratitude and relief. "Today, we stand on the brink of a new era. The alien threat that loomed over us has been vanquished. Thanks to the heroic efforts of our allies, the humans. Their courage and determination have saved countless lives and ensured the safety of the galaxy." General Thaler, who had fought alongside the humans, spoke next. "The humans have proven themselves to be exceptional warriors and reliable allies. Their actions in the final battle were nothing short of extraordinary. They have earned their place as key defenders of the galaxy." Speaker Zevra, always a champion of the human cause, smiled as she addressed the council. "This victory is a testament to the power of unity and collaboration. We have shown that when we work together, we can overcome even the greatest of challenges. The humans have been instrumental in this victory, and their contributions will be remembered for generations. The Council's praise was well-deserved, but it was not just the Council that was celebrating. Across the galaxy, planets and civilizations rejoiced at the news of their liberation. On Earth, celebrations erupted as people gathered to honor their heroes. The human forces, once seen as newcomers in the galactic arena, were now hailed as saviors. Commander John Reeves and his team were honored in a grand ceremony held on Earth. The atmosphere was electric with excitement as leaders from various species, including representatives from the Galactic Council, joined in the celebrations. The ceremony was a recognition of their bravery and a symbol of the new era of cooperation that lay ahead. Reeves stood on the stage, looking out at the crowd with a mix of pride and humility. "This victory is not just about us," he said, his voice carrying over the cheering audience. "It's about everyone who fought alongside us and everyone who believed in the cause. We did this together. The galaxy is safer today because of our collective efforts." As the celebrations continued, the focus began to shift to the future. The galaxy faced the task of rebuilding and healing after the conflict. The damage inflicted by the alien invaders was significant, and the process of recovery would require collaboration and effort from all parties involved. The Galactic Council initiated plans to provide aid and support to the affected planets. Reconstruction efforts were launched, and resources were allocated to help rebuild infrastructure and support displaced populations. The humans, now respected allies, played a crucial role in these efforts, contributing their expertise and resources to the recovery process. The alliance between the humans and the Galactic Council grew stronger with each passing day. Joint projects were established to ensure ongoing security and to prevent future threats. The shared experiences of the conflict had forged strong bonds, and the cooperation between species set a new standard for unity in the galaxy. Commander Reeves and his team continued to work closely with their allies, sharing their knowledge and helping to implement strategies for long-term peace and stability. Their role as leaders and defenders of the galaxy was solidified, and they remained committed to ensuring that the sacrifices made during the conflict were not in vain. As the galaxy moved forward, there was a sense of hope and renewal. The victory had demonstrated the strength of unity and the power of collective action. The humans had proven themselves to be indispensable allies and had played a crucial role in saving the galaxy. The galaxy's future was bright, with new opportunities for cooperation and growth. The lessons learned from the conflict would shape the way forward, guiding efforts to build a more secure and peaceful galaxy. The human forces, having saved the day, were now an integral part of a new era of galactic harmony. In the end, the story of saving the galaxy was one of courage, unity, and hope. The humans had emerged as true heroes, their legacy etched into the history of the galaxy. The victory was a celebration of what could be achieved when beings from different worlds came together to fight for a common cause.